It's the 12th round of the Stock Cactus Championship at Donington Park, the second race of the weekend. Poleman Jake Farndon's not there, so Tom Bell on the front row by himself. Row 2 is Patrick Fletcher, Shane Deegan. Row 3 Lee Deegan and Andrew Tibbs. The race is underway. We're on board with Paul Jarvis, who started late, but there's a poor start there from Andrew Tibbs. He's headed down the field. It's Nathan Saunders there in the 81 car. He was alongside Jarvis. He's made a good start. So Scott Sharp is up on the inside as they go on to the brakes into Redgate. Through the rear view camera there, I noticed that Andrew Tibbs was really late on the brakes. He's got round the corner though, so the leader's headed down Hollywood and onto the Craner curve for the first time. With a 10-second delay, the Clio 182 series cars underway as well, but it's Tom Bell that leads. Shane Deegan in second place. Deegan won the race yesterday. Tom Bell really pushing hard side by side between Phil Wright and Andrew Tibbs further back. There's Deegan, he's just ahead of Fletcher. There's Andrew Tibbs off the circuit now, so Steve Powsland is going to try and go around the outside of him here. The Clio's Matt Fincham leads the way. He is ahead of Martin Ward. Tom Bell can win the championship in this race. He's got to finish something like in the top 10, so as long as Tom Bell stays out of trouble, he should be champion by the end of this race. Nathan Saunders bounces over the curve, the Coffee's corner 2. Deegan's a side by side as well. Patrick Fletcher's got ahead of Shane Deegan, leading and trying to find his way past Shane as well. Nathan Saunders getting himself in that as well as they head down towards the chicane for the first time in this 13-minute first one lap race. Paul Jarvis looks to the inside. It's late on the brakes for Nathan Saunders. He tries to attack Shane Deegan. He can't do anything about that. Tom Bell then leads as they come out the chicane, but the first up is a bit of a lead for Bell over Fletcher in second. Third is Shane Deegan. Fourth, Nathan Saunders. Fifth, Lee Deegan. Sixth, far aboard camera car, Paul Jarvis. In seventh is Scott Sharp. Eighth, Phil Wright. Ninth, Steve Houghton. And 10th is Andy Tibbs. Onto the brake, Paul Jarvis out of the cocaine just on cloud and the car a bit sideways before he was turning in there. Lee Deegan runs out wide. Paul Jarvis using all the road as well as their cars head on to Hollywood and then down the Crane just for the second time at this race. They will go, and it should still be Tom Bell that leads there from Fletcher. Shane Deegan right behind him as well. Deegan runs out very wide there, but he gets it back under control and right in the wheel tracks once again. A Patrick Fletcher. There's your race leader, Tom Bell. He is your to-be champion. There's 28. That's Andrew Tibbs. He's just ahead of Pip Hammond, who's back in the series this weekend. He missed the last round at Silverstone. There's Fincham then just ahead of Martin Ward. And before we go, Steve Powsland, he's up on the inside of Phil Wright. Then as they turn their way through McLean, Andrew Tibbs getting involved in this as well. This is the battle for 8th position. Pip Hammond joining as well. Right, those stays in front of Powsland. And now Andrew Tibbs is going to be trying to come through as they come into Comics Corner. He's got the inside line. And through goes the 28 car, but Powsland now cutting back. Pip Hammond was trying to squeeze his way up on the inside as well. They're unable to do anything about him though. So Tibbs just ahead, but Powsland coming back at him now. He's got the inside line. They're down to chicane. The Summit Woods car, they're getting involved as well as they all now come onto the brakes into the chicane. It's the... So the second part, Tibbs has got the inside of Powsland, and there's contact between the two cars. Powsland's on the grass, more contact between the two of them. Wheel-to-wheel contact there, just flipped and Powsland's car up in the air ever so slightly, so there go through the two black cars. Simon Wood the first one, and then Pip Hammond the second of them, and under the brakes of Redgate Corner, and Powsland biking back up on the inside of Pip Hammond. Terry Roughton behind the pair of them. They'll be side by side as they head out of Redgate. Meanwhile, we've had a change because Shane Deegan has fallen behind Nathan Saunders. And Deegan's on the grass. He's sideways with the old hairpin. He's running out wide here. All over the grass. He was completely sideways into the corner. I think he hit the grass there. Turning into the old hairpin. Of course, that shot his Saxo off the road. So following his brother Lee now is Paul Jarvis. Lee Deegan's got a bit of a gap to catch now from Nathan Saunders after that off for Shane Deegan. So the top two now have got a bit of a gap. That's Tom Bell who's being drilled in by Patrick Fletcher. Lee Deegan smacks the curve through Gobby's corner. That bounces the car, bounces it wide. So now Paul Jarvis up on the inside line of the exit of Coppice. Jarvis looking over, looking to see where Lee is as they head down the hill, down towards the S's. And look how late on the brakes Lee Deegan is. He's never going to stop the car, is he? Blinks the car for 2 wheels and he has stopped the car. That was incredible stuff from Lee Deegan. It looked like he was going to shoot off into the ground trap at the chicane. He was so late on the brakes when he got the car stopped, chucked the car onto 2 wheels over that curve, and he actually pulled out quite a decent gap to Paul Jarvis. So really late onto the brakes there with Lee Deegan. Now he slides his car through Redgate Corner. The two of them are going to be trying to work their way back onto the tail of Nathan Saunders. So they head up to Hollywood. Scott Sharp going well. He's in 6th. Now Shane Deegan down to 8th after his moment last time. But look at Patrick Fletcher. He's really putting the pressure on to Tom Bell as they turn their way through Old Hairpin. Tom Bell was 2nd in the championship last season and looking good for the championship this year. That's about the 10th. That's Wood just ahead of Powsland, Hammond and Roughton. Then the Clios now. Fincham and Ward nose to tail in the battle for the Clios, and running out wide there, that's the 21 car. That's Paul Newton, who's all over the grass on the exit of the Old Hairpin. He'll be able to rejoin though. He's lost the place and all that though. It's now Steve Powsland up on the inside of Simon Wood, unable to do it though. That's the ex-Matt Digby car. Look how close Pip Hammond is to the back of Powsland. No way through though. So now they turn their way through Coppice, and Wood is now going to start putting it under pressure Andrew Tibbs as they head down towards the chicane. And he's looking to the inside, but Tibbs has defended that line, so now Wood looks to the outside. Powsland and Hammond laid on the brakes, and Matt Fincham there up on the inside. He's just chucked his Clio up into 2 wheels. He's put a car now between him and Martin Ward. That won't take long though to change once again, because the Clio is obviously more powerful than the Citreon Saxo stock hatches. Wood under pressure now, because here comes Powell up on the inside line into Redgate. Is there room for him to go through there? Yes, just about. So he's got that one done. Yes, and Pip Hammond's going to try and follow him through here. Pip Hammond, the double classic stock hatch champion. We've got a change with the lead. Patrick Fletcher's got the lead. Look at the grass he's taken on the inside of the Crater cars. And Nathan Saunders onto the back of them now. There's leading in the Paul Jarvis not far back either. So we could have 5 with the lead before long. And Scott Sharp's lost out. Shane Deegan's past him, and Phil Wright just going past there as well. Steve Powsland just in front of Pip Hammond. This is a really entertaining stock catch race. We've only had just over 1/3 of the race so far. Plenty more of action to come in this one, and there's battles all the way throughout the field. One of them is the battle of 4, that's Lee Deegan just ahead of Paul Jarvis. And once again, Deegan hit the car, bounces over, and look at it, they're closing orders. We had to change the lead again. Bell back in front of Fletcher, but Fletcher's challenging him down towards the chicane. Fantastic racing here from the stock catches. So they head down towards the chicane, and Deegan again late on the brake track outside of Paul Jarvis, so he stays in front, he hops over the curb. They put the power back on as they head down towards Redgate corner. Nathan Saunders just ahead of the pair of them. Paul Jarvis checking his mirrors, but nobody really that close behind him. Like I said, Shane Deegan's up to 6th position now. They turn their way then into Redgate corner. Top out starting to put a gap slightly between him and look at Jarvis. It's sideways. That was Lee Deegan and Nathan Saunders in front. All these top runners absolutely on the limit here around the Donington Park National Circuit. So down the crane as they come then. 3rd, 4th and 5th together. Nathan Saunders just ahead of Lee Deegan, and then Paul Jarvis. They turn that way into the Old Hairpin. Lee Deegan's on the car sideways. Through the corner, he gets it even more sideways. Nathan Saunders runs out on the road. He's on the grass. So they turn their way now underneath the bridge and up towards Saunders Curve and into McLean. They will go. And it's still Saunders in 3rd. 4th for Deegan, 5th for Jarvis. He Saxos are sideways for half of that. McLean is on the corners, they're not getting too sideways round. Up towards Coppice corner, this is a corner that Saxos really bounce if they hit the curb. And Lee Deegan hasn't hit it so hard that time. Look at Fletcher though. Fletcher squeezing up on the inside of Patrick Fletcher. The 2 of them are going to be side by side as they head down towards the S's. Can't really see what's going on there. As it's still Saunders instead of in front of Lee Deegan and Paul Jarvis in the top 2, and Patrick Fletcher back into the lead, but now it's 5 in the lead. But look at Tom Bell, he's 5 back on the X in the corner. Nathan Saunders as well, right with them. It could be any of the 3 of them as leading as they go down the Redgate corner this time. Saunders is going for the outside. Tom Bell's got it done, and Saunders though has gone past Patrick Fletcher. So Fletcher down to 3rd. He was leading as a chicane, and now comes Lee Deegan. He squeezes his way up on the inside. Good move there from Lee, just saw Saxo quickly went for it, and now Paul Jarvis finding his way faster there. Past Patrick Fletcher as well, and he should be able to get that done onto Hollywood. He does. So Patrick Fletcher, who is at the front of that group, now at the back of it, and Shane Deegan's going to join them in, even though having that gravel trap excursion a few laps ago. So it's Bell that leads, Saunders 2nd, 3rd Deegan, 4th Jarvis. Lee Deegan gets it extremely sideways for the Old Hairpin. He's losing out now because of that. So both Jarvis and Fletcher go through, the 2 Deegans together once again. This is really cracking racing from the stock catches. Steve Powsland and Hammond having a good battle. Here's a replay from Paul Jarvis, a massive sideways move. from Lee Deegan. How fantastic was that? He held it though, he lost 2 positions, but a bit too sideways from the ex-autocross racer. Right now, what happened up towards McLean? Well, Patrick Fletcher, he squeezed back up on the inside, so he went from 1st to 5th back up to 3rd. Now this was a lap ago. Scott Sharp had a wide moment on the exit of the old hairpin. He went grass tracking, but back to the action because Paul Jarvis back on the inside of Patrick Fletcher. He's back through. He's up into 3rd position, so Fletcher within the lap has gone from 1st to 5th to 3rd, back down to 4th again. But he's not done that. He's right behind, trying to find a way past Paul Jarvis. Is he pushing him now? Can the straight bomb up from Paul Jarvis? The pair of them have got to try and catch the top 2, but instead it's one of the Deegans. Is it Lee? No, it's Shane. It's 58. It's Shane Deegan goes down the outside of Patrick Fletcher. Can't get it done. Runs out of road onto the grass. Martin Ward just behind him in the best of the Clio. There's Lee Deegan right behind him. So Tom Powell leads. He's looking good for the championship still. Nathan Saunders 2nd. And now Shane Deegan has got past Patrick Fletcher as they turn their way into the old hairpin. Lee Deegan right up the back of the Clio of Martin Ward as they turned their way there through the old hairpin, and more side by side. This is Andrew Tibbs and Pip Hammond. Tibbs on the inside. He's ahead of Pip Hammond now. They get to the corner, then he runs out wide. Pip Hammond trying to get back ahead of him. Can't quite do it as they turn there underneath the bridge. This is a replay from a couple of laps ago. Bit of contact possibly there. Housen being pushed into the gravel, I think by Andrew Tibbs. He's staying in front of him, so despite the wave in there for Housen, nothing really gained or lost as they head up across the line. Housen goes defensive into Redgate, turns into the corner, gets a little bit sideways, so that's allowed Tibbs to cut up on the inside. Housen defends that line. 2 of them rub slightly, but Tibbs didn't get the move done, and Pip Hammond round the outside. Final lap of the race now then round Donington Park. Tom Bell leads, and he's pulling a gap now to Nathan Saunders. So can Tom Bell clinch a championship here at Donington with still 2 rounds to go at Cadwell Park with a race victory? Well, Paul Jarvis, he's been doing stock catch, I think, from the beginning of 2010. He hasn't yet been on the podium. He's at the moment in 3rd, but he's got Shane Deegan right behind him. He's got Nathan Saunders right in front of him. He could still get 2nd, but at the same time he could still drop off the podium. Here's Pip Hammond. He's cleared Andrew Tibbs now, so a good lap or so there from Hammond. There's Tibbs. He's just ahead of Simon Wood, and then Steve Powson's right behind him. Plenty of position still to be resolved, and Paul Jarvis is now right on the tail of Nathan Saunders. They head through Coffee's corner for the final time then. Tom Bell's lead isn't that large, but it should be large enough to hold on to the victory and to take the 2013 Stock Cat Championship. Who's going to get 2nd though? Saunders is just in front of Paul Jarvis. They head down to, and he's really late on the brakes. Is he going to challenge Tom Bell into the chicane? No, not quite close enough for that. He gets round the corner all right. So Tom Bell, he's crossed the line to become the 2013 Stock Cat Champion. 2nd is Nathan Saunders, and his 1st podium in Stock Cat racing. Paul Jarvis finishes in 3rd position.